Hello. Hello. I've just decided that I'm gonna be right next to the microphone this whole time. Turn your phone off, damn it.
I'm not talking on stream. I had my mic muted, which is good because no one heard anything I said. Okay. Hello, we are live. I apologize about that. I had my microphone muted. So you would have been able to hear Toast and not me. But now we are live.
You're gonna have to cut that bit.
No, we're not. No, we're not. Anyway.
Or just me just yelling at nothing.
Anyway. Welcome to the next episode of the D&D Grand Worldbuilding Podcast, etc. name thing that I thought of.
I think it's silly.
We're going to go through the introduction very quickly, just to make sure that everything is fine. Essentially, what I'm doing in this podcast every week is we are going to be building a world for a future D&D campaign. So we'll be going through it step by step. Last week we got some of the basic groundwork done of what I sort of want from this world and other such things. And this time we're going to be talking about something a little bit more refined, beginning to work on one of the biome areas and establishing exactly what is in it and why. With me today,
Hooray.
as always, I have ScifiToast.
For the record, he never originally wanted me here, I just bothered him enough.
I was going to do the podcast entirely solo, but I realized that it'd be much better for me to just talk to someone.
Except I realised that, and you didn't.
Oh, shut up.
You were so adamant that you were going to do it by yourself.
Yeah. Okay.
Great! So, this biome.
So, just very quickly, do you want to run over just really quickly what you remember about last week? Just so that people that weren't here last week can catch up.
We covered the biomes, we covered the gods, and that was about it.
Fantastic. All right. Well,
That was an hour.
yeah, it tends to do that when you're talking. So, it is time to start talking about what we're going to be talking about today, which is the swampy rainforest area.
And which part of the map does this encompass?
So, that's the first thing we need to go over. First thing that very much needs to be gone over in this episode before we do anything is we now have a map of the area. So I'm going to get rid of the image. We're going to bring up my display capture. Or whatever the fuck I'm supposed to be doing. It should be
Good
displaying
job.
it.
Well done.
Well done.
Congratulations.
Well done. I'm going to bring this up again. This is fun. This is the problem with live shows. Oh well. Oh well. Alright, we're going to redo the display capture then. Really great. Fantastic. I love when this happens. I legitimately just want it to show my screen, and it won't show my screen.
Well, it is a podcast. No one's supposed to be seeing anything, really.
Well, this is also a Twitch stream, so we're going to be... and an uploaded YouTube video series. So...
I suppose so.
trying to make...
Let's forget about that for a moment.
Yeah.
And just continue talking. Otherwise, anyone who wants to listen will be bored.
We have a map. I have a map physically on my screen right now, which no one can see.
Yes.
That map shows the general area of I generated a map using a fantastic website for anyone that is actually interested. I'm going to post it in the chat because it will actually appear on the stream in the top top left-hand corner. I apologize. This link that I've just linked, which you can copy down because I'm fairly sure chat looks a bit dead today, but that's okay, is a fantastic website for a lot of different generation things for worlds. So you can generate world maps, you can generate town names, tavern names, people names, encounters for D&D, many different versions. It's fantastic. So I generated a map the other day, which I have in front of me. And yeah, no, it's a very interesting map. About half of it is ocean, which goes quite well with what we were talking about in the last podcast, which was having an underwater area.
I had a good idea for this, actually.
Did you?
And by had, I mean just had. Like, I just thought of it.
Uh-huh.
The reason that most of the area is covered in, well, half of it covered in water is that at some point there was this giant tsunami, and it, like, covered most of the land.
Interesting.
And so a lot of the land is underwater now.
Interesting.
I mean, a lot of this world's about disasters and things, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, it's not exactly the most habitable world ever.
Yes, that is true. That could be a thing that could have happened.
So to the north we have an ocean, and it covers basically half the map.
You've got a copy of the map, right?
No, I'm just remembering it from memory.
Okay, I'll just send it to you again. But keep going.
I'm not sure whether those triangle things are trees or mountains.
They're mountains, I'm fairly sure. I just sent it to you again. Yeah, the triangles are mountains, the palm trees are trees. And then there's other trees. Lovely. There's like pine trees, there's normal trees, there's little hills as well. You can see what they are.
What are the circle ones? Are they circle ones?
They're trees.
Okay.
Look at them, they're trees. They're very...
And the lines? The little lines?
Perhaps desert.
Oh, desert works. Yeah.
Again, I'm not actually going to... I probably won't be using a lot of this as how it's drawn. But I want to pick areas. I sort of like the mountain ranges that they have in there, which is nice. So, because I want a bigger desert area, which we'll probably get to at some point. But for now, we are looking at a spot for the rainforest.
Where is the rainforest?
That's the question.
I suggest it is... Oh no, it can't be there, because that's where the supposed desert is. But I quite like the idea of that really sort of bit where there's lots of bits of water. Like, it looks like it would be very marshy there.
Oh, that bit. I know which one you're talking about. No one else will, but that's okay.
Yeah, it's sort of in the middle.
This bit.
There's lots of pools of water.
Yeah.
And it looks like it would be very marshy. So I'm thinking there.
Yeah, I reckon that would probably work. Ah, look at that. I actually got the window to capture. I just captured the window as opposed to anything else. So this is the map. Let's have a look at it on stream. This is the map here.
If they're just listening, they won't care.
Please stop saying that. This is the map. Okay? This entire section up here is water. This section here is where we're talking about, I think. If I'm right, if you're looking at the stream now. Which will take a while because of delay.
Lovely. Yep.
That's the one?
That's good. That's the marshy sort of rainforesty bit.
Because I was thinking desert over... Oh god, I've done it in pencil. I was thinking desert over here. Sort of. Oh. Desert over here in this section, which would mean that we can put the rainforest here. Oh, for fuck's sake. Put the rainforest here. desert rainforest.
So by the north, yeah, by the west coast. No, not the west coast. It's hard to say because it's more or less in the middle, isn't it?
Well, yes,
Just
because
kinda-
this is an atlas version of the map, so like the mountains on the right and the mountains on the left joined together.
Ah, that's
Because
interesting.
it's a world. This can go on a globe.
Oh, right, so that's the globe view of it. That's interesting.
Didn't you realize that?
No, I always assumed it was just an isolated continent.
Nope.
Very well, now I know.
This is the globe.
That's cool. I approve.
So we're gonna focus on. Oh, actually, what if we move it a little bit further over? So we take this bit.
Yeah, I'm thinking what of the entire area there? The entire area which has like
Oh, you mean like that bit?
the swamps and stuff.
That bit. And maybe
All of
including
it.
a little bit of the shore here as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like this section here is what you're thinking.
Yes.
That's really big. Like you have to remember that this is huge, right?
The Amazon rainforest is also huge.
Yeah, but we have a lot of biomes that we have to fit in.
I suppose so, yeah.
And we're essentially saying this quarter of the landmass is what we're going to be doing for the rainforest. I don't think I like the idea of it being like that. I think maybe we take a smaller area, like we take where I'm drawing now. We take this smaller area here.
Yeah, that
We
works,
forget
yeah.
about the shore. We just take this area here.
Mm-hmm.
Because then we get a lot of water, and this water doesn't have to be lakes. It could be shallow. It could be shallow, swampy bits here. It doesn't have to specifically be lakes. You know what I mean?
Yes, I understand.
Good. So, forgetting
Now
about
that we've established the location,
yes,
I think we need to establish what exactly it's gonna look like, what it's gonna be like.
yes.
So I'm thinking,
What are you thinking?
well, that's just it. I'm thinking.
Oh.
Well, as we know, it's going to be very marshy and very swampy. I'm taking an inspiration from a section of one of my favorite books, Beyond the Deep Woods.
Mm-hmm.
There's a part in this area called the Deep Woods, which is very stagnant. It's very swampy. There's like a big lake of mud essentially, which looks like solid ground, and then you walk on it and then you sink, and it's very unpleasant. And also a lot of the trees around the area are very dead. Though in this case, we established that the trees thrived off of the filth and the stagnantness. I've said stagnant a lot. I need to find a different describing word.
No, it's technically correct. Stagnant is very correct.
Because it just means that it's just water that's not flowing, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's got it's got crap in it.
That's exactly what it is.
So I assume there's lots of nasty wildlife, which
Yes, and that is why today I've actually grabbed my monster manual from D&D
oh,
to physically, if you can hear, flick through, and we can find a bunch of monsters to help populate this area, because there are so many of them in this fucking book.
I'd say because it's a very dangerous landscape and it's full of nasty gases and nasty water, that it would need to be a very special kind of creature that would be able to survive in it.
Well,
Maybe it's adapted and it's evolved to have some form of system that can cope with the I'm just trying to think of a word to describe the environment.
I know what you mean. I don't like that. That's not a very good one. I'm just having like a look through through things. We could do the Kwatoa.
I have no idea what that is.
The Kwatoa are these weird fish people.
Fish people work.
See if I can. I'm sort of doing all this live. Trying to see if I can get a picture of them. Probably can.
If anyone who's listening to this is familiar with D&D, then they likely know what one looks like anyway.
Let's just. I'm gonna capture this window so that people can see the image I'm showing.
Oh, I closed Twitch. I can't see.
Well, that's your problem. As you can, as people who are watching can see, this is a Kwatoa.
Oh, and there's another ad. How fantastic! But yeah, I did see a glimpse of it. It looks like a fish with legs, and it looks really weird.
Yep. Well, that's what a Kwatoa looks like. From what
Reminds me of the what they called those blue walking things from the Witcher series. I've literally forgotten what they're called, but they live in swamps and the sea and live rivers and stuff. And they're basically the dredged up corpses of sailors, which then come back to life. They're like zombie sailors.
Interesting.
And they've grown like fins and gills. And they're generally just pain in the ass.
apparently, the Kwatoa in official D&D lore live underground, which is interesting. They invent their own gods, which is sort of cool with my world.
Honestly,
the main thing about them is they can't abide daylight. They don't like daylight. So in an area that's what do you call it? The rainforest is going to be lacking in daylight. So I think it's probably a good
thick canopy of some kind, isn't there?
Yeah. All right, let's just get rid of that picture for a sec. While I have a look. While I look for things. So keep giving ideas while I'm just doing some basic housekeeping stuff for the stream.
From what I can tell from this fish creature, it doesn't really look very sentient. It just looks like a thing that would lumber around in some dirt and make weird noises.
Well, they do have sentience. They worship gods almost fanatically, that they make up, of course.
I'm thinking, like, what if we take this creature and we integrate it into the world so it's no longer very sentient. It's spent too long in this environment and it's sort of devolved.
In what way? And why do they need to be changed?
I don't know, because it just make things more interesting, I suppose.
Well, we're already in a rainforest that's sort of fucked.
Exactly. So why shouldn't everything else be sort of fucked as well?
Well, it is. It's a fish person. It's fucked. It's not supposed to be a There's sort of a perfect race to have exist as a non-player race that can be opposed to the players, in a sense. Because I've got a few notes here. I've written down that last week I'd spoken about the fact that I wanted the lizard folk and the Wanti, which are lizard races and snake people, to sort of call this place their home.
Right.
because they're the ones that sort of survive and thrive in this environment.
Mm-hmm.
And then maybe some elves as well, because elves. And that most of the species would live. Sorry?
Who doesn't love an elf?
All the species would sort of live in the trees, is what we'd sort of established,
Yes.
because they can't live on the ground. But I thought it'd be interesting to have a race like the Quotoa. I don't know how to actually say it. Quotoa. As a race that would work quite well with this, as like a essentially just like a thing that people have to deal with.
Uh-huh.
So what we're going to be doing now while we're talking about this is I'm going to open up Realmworks, which is the program I showed off last session, and we're going to start doing things in it while I'm talking about it. So what we're going to do is we're going to go with we're going to
What are we going to do?
I'm trying to think about that.
Good job.
Thanks. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna start making links and things with this. So the Kotoa are going to be linked with if I can actually link them. We're essentially going to contain them inside this. Yes, I would like to save those. And this here is the Rainforest biome. So what we're doing now is we're gonna start setting everything out on this. That's the most important bit. So we've got a sort of temperate tropical climate here. It's a rainforest, it's a swamp, it's treacherous. They're sort of jungly as well. Sure, that'll do. Okay. So, what next? What else do we need?
Well, I don't know. I'm just thinking more in terms of the aesthetics of the biome.
In what way?
Are they going to be sort of sub areas of the biome? Like there's different sort of parts of it, so it's not entirely the same the whole time. There are like different areas. Like some places are more sort of solid ground. Others are more, yeah. Some areas have solid ground. Some areas are extremely muddy and like have deep pits of like quicksand or like a similar mud variant, or maybe there's lots of vegetation in some areas, or you know, like and also different types of trees as well, because we need to think about this.
Yeah.
Like what sort of types of wood are there, and what are the properties of this wood? Maybe there's a type of wood where if you burn it, it floats.
Interesting concept.
Maybe a wood that's used to build things that you'd usually build out of metal. So a type of a really tough, dense
like
wood.
ironwood. That's what it's called. Ironwood.
Ironwood, is that an actual thing?
Yeah, should be. Heard of it before. Let's have a look. Well, it's been used before in different things that I've seen before. I've definitely.
Because ironwood is also a concept in the Edge Chronicles. They use ironwood to build skyships. So
Yeah, it's Shadzar. It's technically it's set out like a podcast in the sense that we're just going to be discussing things, but we're streaming it live. We're streaming the recording of the podcast live, essentially, where the chat can interact as well. That's sort of the thing we're going for here. I didn't really know how to describe it. I've always sort of just called it the podcast, in a way, because that's what it was originally going to be. What else can we put into this zone? What else are we thinking? It's going to be uploaded to YouTube as a visual, physical podcast. I may release it as an audio podcast as well, depending on whether that's a requested thing that people want. Maybe some sort of fungus.
Oh, fungus is always good. Fungus will work in this biome.
I think so as well. There's a page on fungus somewhere in here. I'm just reading a few different things because I feel like this is the sort of stuff that we need to be looking at. Because this is like fresh shit that people have done. Like, minty fresh. No, these are all hags. Fantastic. Oh, is there no music playing? There should be.
Yeah, there wasn't any music last week either.
Really?
Really?
Because I thought I could hear it. It should be playing. I'm technically licensed for the music I'm using as well, so... I leave the stream music thing up no matter what I'm streaming at the time. Because if I play music, then I'd like people to know where it came from.
That's always a nice thing to do.
Yeah, in case someone's like, I liked that music, what was it? I don't have to tell you. F. Fucking... There was a... Huh. Interesting. Well...
This is a really interesting section of this podcast.
Yeah.
Just listening to you rifle through a book.
I'm trying to fucking find this stupid fungus.
Well, why are we trying to find someone else's fungus, and why are we not creating our own fungus?
Because we're creating a world that has to be put into D&D eventually. And
I mean, I'm pretty sure people have made D&D worlds that consist of entirely original assets.
they have, but those people aren't me. Huh. Okay. I found the fungus section. Interesting. Wow. Okay. So we've got many different types of fungus here. We've got gas spore funguses that emit oh wow. The creatures instantly die if they don't succeed.
That sounds like a good one. Use that.
Very interesting.
Because this is a very dangerous biome we're talking about, so
Yeah.
it needs very dangerous plants and very dangerous fungus. I like fungus. It's really creepy.
It's very some of these look very creepy. Because, like, there's also shriekers, which are just... What the fuck are they? They essentially, when they get hit by a bright light, they just shriek. Fucking hell. Let's see if I can bring up one of these on the screen, because that would be great. Wow. Okay, that's very creepy.
The creepier the better, obviously.
Well...
Especially if some of these fungus were to, like, grow on trees, or...
The thing that I've noticed about these fungus, well, especially this one looks like a beholder if you don't fucking If you don't make a successful check, fucking hell. There's another fungus that makes things rot.
That sounds like a good one.
So that's the only funguses they have in here, which is fine. I'm gonna make a note about them on my little notepad that I've got over here. We're just gonna go with Gasport and Shrieker is the ones that we're thinking about. Hopefully the music is slightly louder now. I did turn it up.
I can't hear it.
Huh.
I'm sure it doesn't matter.
I'm just trying to, because I'm trying to balance it with you. I'm not sure whether it's, I don't want the music to be overpowering you, but I also don't know whether it's even working right now. Oh, well. Anyway, I can fix that another time. I can go through. We'll just continue on. So, I'm thinking in terms of, again, I'm taking this from the D&D standpoint. So anything that you say, I'll find in D&D terms. If that makes sense. That's how I sort of want to do this. So you tell me what you tell me what you think would be good, and ideas that you have, and I can go, well, this is how you could do this in D&D, which will help me immensely. So what are you thinking so far?
I'm still thinking about fungus. I'll probably move on from there now.
Yeah, we need to...
Or whereabouts the fungus actually grows. Does it grow on trees? Does it grow on the ground?
Well,
Does it grow
I'm
leaves?
suspecting it
Are there
grows...
leaves made out of fungus?
I'm suspecting it grows on the ground. By just generally.
Is there a type of fungus that infects small creatures and turns them into zombies? Wait, no, that's just a type of...
Maybe.
Except that exists on Earth. So it's not quite...
Now, here's a question. Now I don't... I'm trying to think of whether this would be a good idea. So, there's these sort of, there's these creatures that live in the Underdark in D&D, called the Mind Flayers. Now, the Mind Flayers live in certain colonies, and such things, and their entire point is they use their mental psionic things to, like, invade people's minds. They have, like, a hive brain sort of concept. I'm wondering whether that might be... I wonder whether it would be too out of character for them to live in the forest almost. Or maybe I just... No, I think I know what we should do. I can leave the Mind Flayers for the Underdark. Remember how I was talking about those snake people, the Wanti?
I suppose so, yes.
So the Wanti are like snake people. I can bring up some pictures of them on stream, just in case there's anyone that hasn't actually seen them.
It's fine. They can probably look it up.
I'm still putting it on stream anyway. So we have... here we go. So we have a picture of the Wanti here on stream, which is... They're just snake people.
Yeah, I see them.
They're literally...
I have brought...
I will be dealing with Sarnix, Shadzar, but I'm thinking of leaving them a little bit further out of, like, the, I want to say the perceivable world? Because... Like, I want to, in the first episode, which is up on YouTube, I wanted to, stress the fact that I wanted to fit everything class and race-wise into this world for D&D. So that would include the mystics from Unearthed Arcana. So Psionics are a thing. Problem is, that's why I think I want to have to put them in the Underdark. But we're not talking about the Underdark today. Today, we are talking about this.
What is this biome actually called?
I've just called it Rainforest at the moment.
Well, it doesn't sound very threatening.
Well...
It's got to be something which really reflects what it is. Some kind of...
Well, we don't really have names, because we don't really know what sort of... Maybe the name of this continent is related to the Wanti in some way. Because I think they'd be a really interesting like sort of dominant race in here. Because there are, if I'm showing a picture on stream now, which is physically from the Volo's book. I'm looking at it right now. The Wanti have temples, and those temples sort of look like Aztec temples.
I do love a good temple.
And I was thinking, like, that would actually be a really interesting idea for the aesthetic of this place. Sort of low fog, rainforest with lots of Aztec sort of temple ideas.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
If anyone's played World of Warcraft, I'm thinking like troll settlements, especially in Stranglethorn Vale, as an inspiration, because those are beautiful. They're fucking beautiful. Like, look at this picture I've got up on stream. It's loading now. If it'll actually load. This one. This is an Uncharted picture. But holy shit, that's the sort of aesthetic I'm looking for.
That's pretty fancy.
Yeah, it's pretty fancy. So we're thinking like Aztec inspired.
Yeah, so yeah, I do like the idea of that, like some sort of deity face with a big mouth, and the mouth is the doorway, and there's a big bridge going over to it and stuff. Like, I do quite like that idea. It's a bit vory.
It's a bit what?
It's a bit vory.
Oh god. So I think I might actually be changing. If I click on edit, I think I might be changing this to a more. I was gonna say government, but that's not true. It's a faction. So we're gonna get rid of the ethnic part, and we're gonna put in a faction. So the Wanti are now a faction in this area. I think probably works out nicely. So, if we stick with the fact that they're the most dominant species in this area, right?
Okay. Yep.
Then what?
Well, then.
So what does that mean for the area? We have a dominant race that lives in this area and controls sort of what happens in it, I guess. What does that do for it?
Well, I suppose they would control food and trade.
Yes. Perhaps they are independent.
Perhaps maybe they are self-sufficient, so they don't need to trade.
Yes.
Because who would trade with anyone who lives in a deadly rainforest?
Yeah, I'm quite excited for that, Shadzar. That's going to be very, very interesting. Let me find the fucking Wanti in here. I'm just checking a little bit of info about them. So, Wanti have a lot of different things about them. They actually hate humans. That's interesting. They have a very structured society. Ooh. They have a structured society based on a caste system.
A caste system?
Yes. The basic form of the society is a pyramid with abominations at the top, Malisons in the middle level, and purebloods at the base. The outliers are the Anathemas, the most powerful Yanti of all, and two castes that lie beneath all Yanti, brood guards and slaves. So Yanti in the lore are essentially human civilizations that were corrupted by serpent gods, apparently.
Okay.
And they perform sacrifices in the name of their gods, cannibalize their victims, and perform rituals. And so now they're like snake people, essentially.
Sneeple.
The Sneeple. It's very interesting looking at this. So abominations are they're the ones that I showed, which were like mostly snakes, but with human arms.
Yeah, that's pretty creepy. There's aliens like that in XCOM, and they're kind of weird.
And then the Malisons are the ones that have like snake heads, but are like humanoid in terms of their features. And then the Purebloods, which are the ones... The Purebloods are literally humans, but they have some snake features, like slitted pupils or patches of scales on the skin.
That sounds like a fun species to be.
In the cities, Purebloods are treated fairly, but live in an environment where their wants and needs are eclipsed by those of the Malisons and the Abominations. And they use Purebloods almost as spies to go after the humans.
To recap, these are the ones that live in the rainforest, yeah?
Yeah, this is what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Would
you say that they are physiologically adapted to survive in the rainforest?
Oh, yeah. They'd be the ones that would be able to live and survive in the actual fog that exists there. Which, actually, before we do anything, before I even continue reading more about the Wanti, because they're very interesting, and I really want to now read more, and try and throw them in to this area, what does the fog do?
The fog acts like a sort of a caustic acid gas. It sort of dissolves things, and if it dissolves something which can be used as nourishment, then the trees, the trees take it in, like a sort of, a bit like photosynthesis, but with gas.
So you're thinking, perhaps the gas, oh god. I just thought the gas was, mildly poisonous.
Yeah,
maybe.
It could also be a poison.
I was thinking...
It's acidic and poisonous.
I think the idea of the gas,
So
should be... I wasn't thinking... I don't want the gas to kill quickly. I want the gas to be slow and painful.
Oh yeah, that's what I was thinking also.
So it starts off...
Spend too long in it and your skin starts drying up.
I was thinking more peeling.
Oh yeah, that's even more nasty. Yeah, I quite like that one.
So it's like you start off and the gas is like it's hard to breathe and you're coughing and you know you feel it's hard to breathe, and then your lungs feel like they're on fire. Then your skin starts to tingle. Then your skin starts to peel away.
Imagine what that's doing to the inside of your lungs, though.
Oh yeah, that's why it's really that's why it feels warm to breathe it in. And then eventually you're just a pile of bones. In my idea is that the skin peels and then the rest of your body essentially just dissolves and rots. So through the entirety of this rainforest, there are just bones.
Yep.
I reckon that's a good place to start. So, why are the Wanti immune to it?
Centuries of living
in it? Perhaps the scales are also a help?
Yeah.
Now, if we establish that scales are helpful, then we fill the area with crocodiles. And alligators.
Like, sort of mutant crocodiles.
Yeah, or even just normal crocodiles. That's an idea that is an interesting thing. Because at that point, you've now got an establishment that anything with scales is perfectly safe here. So now you can look for more things that have scales. Like a basilisk, for example.
Yeah, that would
Basilisk is the one I'm thinking of. I just said that name off the top of my head after seeing it in the book. Yeah,
that's a good idea.
That's exactly what I'm thinking about. Basilisks. Because basilisks are an actual danger.
Yeah, that works.
You can have basilisks crawling around. You can have things like what else have we got in here that would be really good? Giant frogs. There are giant frogs in here. I have a beautiful picture in front of me that I can't show because it's in a physical book of a frog eating a man.
Lovely.
Mm.
So, man-eating frogs. Why not?
Oh yeah, it's fantastic. Now that's an interesting name that I want to look up. This is, I think the main focus of this stream, is doing exactly what I would do if I was world building, which is just flicking through books and going, "This is pretty cool." Oh wow!
And then making a note of it.
Oh wow! There is ooh. Maybe not. I was thinking of the idea of spiders, but I don't think I like spiders in this area.
Ooh, spiders, no.
I
Ooh.
don't think I like
Ooh.
spiders. I like
Ooh,
spiders. Remember how we spoke about a Fey forest?
Yes.
Which is like a forest filled with, you know, the Fey, which are all like, you know, fairies and shit. I like the idea of spiders in that.
Hear me out a sec. Hear me out a sec.
Yep.
Hear me out a sec. Yeah.
Yep.
I was watching this film, and like there were these. It was like there was this area where like there were these really, really tall trees.
Mm-hmm.
And then suddenly, like some of those trees started moving, and like then a guy got impaled by a tree, and then they realized that no, they weren't trees at all. They were spider legs, and it was just like this giant spider, and it
That's
looked
creepy.
like its legs looked like trees.
Now, what about this as well?
I'm just thinking that would be a cool idea.
That is an interesting idea. We'll have to keep that for wherever we put spiders, I think.
Yeah.
So, an idea I had just
Spiders
now.
and
Number
bundles
one, we need a big bad for this area. Something that is a big beast that sort of wanders around and everyone fears because it's big. Guess what I think we
So-
should do?
A basilisk?
No, I think we should put a Hydra in the center of this place.
Shit, son.
Or not the
Hydra.
center, at least somewhere in it.
Hail Hydra.
Fuck you. Because Hydras are really cool. We can also throw...
Cut off one head and it grows two more.
I think we need a natural enemy. So we've got one natural enemy already, which is the Kratoa, right?
Yep.
What about Myconids?
What's one of those?
Myconids are mushroom people. Like
Oh,
fungus people.
That's cool. Yeah, that would work actually.
Because again, they're also normally based in the Underdark, but I sort of like them in this area, to be honest.
Yeah.
I
they
like
would
them
work.
better than I like the Mind Flayers. I like Myconids living in this broken, destroyed fucking rainforest. I mean, yeah, like rainforest, swampy, jungly thing, whatever the fuck this is. It's not even a rainforest anymore. It's a fucking jungle. And a bunch
it
of
is a
other
jungle.
things.
And also a hellhole.
Yeah. Sounds terrible.
Yeah.
I was considering Tarask, but I don't think I should throw a Tarask into this area.
What is one of those?
So Tarasks are... I'll show a picture of it on stream. I'm sure people know what a Tarask is, but Tarasks are more powerful than dragons. They essentially are world destroyers.
Oh, well, I think that's a bit OTT.
Yeah, there's some of the hardest things in D&D to fight. I'll show it on stream though. That's a Tarask. They are terrifying.
They are pretty terrifying.
That's
Does it have eyes?
its eyes there. Yeah,
Oh, they're right on the side of its head.
yeah.
Oh.
I had some of my
If it didn't
players.
have eyes, that'd be even more creepy.
I had some of my players deal with a Tarask. Well, not deal with it. They almost woke it up, which would be scary. So I was thinking, yeah, we throw a Hydra in, right? And then we have the Myconids as another race. What about, because I also want the lizard folk to come from here, a rivalry between the lizard folk and the Wanti, because the Wanti seem like a more structured race, right? They have a caste system, they have, you know, temples and stuff that they build to their gods, while the lizard folk are more faced around like shamans, people that live off the land. They're also scaly. But what that would mean is that then you have this rival between a more primitive race and a more, I guess, established race.
Yeah.
And so you have whatever conflict that brings. And that's a really interesting thing to put into this world.
I'd say so.
A conflict between lizard folk and Wanty. So we have... Hang on, I'm just trying to make sure I've got everything. Kotoa. Myconid. I think so far that's pretty good. I think we've sort of established the races and stuff now that can go in here. We've got some
Absolutely.
We've got some pretty good ideas for what sort of fauna
Ooh.
would live here. What? Oh,
I've had an idea.
you've had an idea?
It's also very stolen from another source.
Psh,
But I thought
everything's
we could adapt
stolen,
it a bit.
dude.
I thought we could adapt it a bit.
Yep.
So there's this sort of bird creature,
Yes.
and it sort of creates cocoons
Mhm.
to trap other creatures.
Uh-huh.
So, say if it finds like a sleeping creature on like a tree branch or something,
Yes.
it creates this sort of black gunk and cocoons this poor unsuspecting creature, and the gunk then solidifies into like this really hard
Mhm.
stuff, and inside the cocoon it then creates this sort of gas or something similar, which then turns the prisoner into goop, and then
Interesting.
the creature stick its spike in and suck up the goop.
Interesting. That sounds pretty cool.
Yeah.
I like it. What's it called? Because you borrowed it off of something, I assume.
Yeah, I can't actually remember what it's called. The book it comes from is on my bookshelf, and my bookshelf is on the other side of my room, and I can't recall to get it.
Oh. If you think about it, let me know, because that might actually
Hang
be
on.
interesting.
Give me a sec.
Oh god, he's left me. So, let's think. We have the Wanty,
I have got
and...
the book.
Welcome
Oh
back.
god, this book is so old now. It
We have
smells
the
yellow.
Wanty, we have the Lizard Folk. The Wanty are more structured and care about gods. So those will probably have things like clerics.
Oh. It's called a rot sucker.
A what?
A rot sucker.
Let me very quickly look that up. Those are mildly terrifying. Just mildly.
Yeah. Big flying things with bulbous heads.
For those who don't know what a rot sucker is, I'm going to show it on stream. They're terrifying. I'm not quite sure.
No?
We're going for like a sort of... We're going for the idea that things that live here are either funguses or scaled.
Yeah.
Because they're the only things that can sort of live comfortably in this area.
Well, we could adapt it, I suppose.
Maybe.
So it could be scaled. It could look like a sort of a dragon
Maybe.
or something.
I can probably work something out, but I'll leave it as an idea, at least.
Yeah.
So we have two races that are at war. What are they at war about? Why are they fighting? So the lizard folk are more of a natural based thing with druids and shamans and stuff to sort of that's how they that's how they believe that you know, things are done, and they hate these fucking Wanti people for living in their land. Maybe. Do you think maybe the because the Wanti worship gods. They probably worship the god that made the rainforest inhabitable.
Yes, probably. That sounds about right.
Whatever god that is, I haven't decided, but that doesn't matter. So if they worship that god, what if the lizard folk are the complete opposite and they worship maybe they worship the fog as protection? Because it's natural? They think it's natural? It's actually tough. Because I'm trying to work out why they're fighting. They need a reason to fight.
Some sort of racial difference?
Well, both races hate other races. Well, the Wanti especially hate humanoids. So humans.
Yeah.
Because they sacrifice them. That's the point. They're an entire race that got their power from sacrificing other humanoid things.
Did they actually get their power from it? Or did they just
That's how they evolved. Mind controlling substances released in the spores of the fungus. Ooh. But what would that be? What would be? Is it mind controlling towards? Ooh, Shadza, you fucking
beautiful.
Beauty. That's amazing.
That is amazing.
That is an actual very good idea.
I am all about that.
So, essentially, fungus spore maybe the myconoids are the ones that are expelling the fungus in that case.
It creates rage or something. It's like yeah.
Yeah, and that's still something that can be, because they're resistant to the gas, the fog of the area, but they're not resistant to mind controlling fungus. That's clever. I like that. That actually makes conflict, and that also helps because it means that any of the Wanti and the lizard folk that don't live in that area, ones that perhaps the players are playing, are probably more I want to say more accepting. Both the races hate pretty much everyone, but they're more accepting than they would be in this area where there's lots of fights and you could probably get jumped by people. Sort of, maybe even some of the people go ravenous, perhaps.
Not ravenous, that means hungry.
No, I'm thinking ravenous as in like they go primal, not refined.
Yeah, ravenous means hungry.
I know.
I think you're thinking of the other thing, which I can't actually remember at this point.
And that's why I said ravenous, because I was trying to get a point across.
Feral.
Feral.
That works.
No, that is the one. So I'm thinking of feral. Perhaps some of the things go feral, and maybe that's a reason why the races don't like the myconids as well. Because there's the entire area is essentially just conflict, which is kind of what I like, because it's breeding its own internal conflicts from the poisonous fog, and the fact that the myconids are essentially trying to harbor I was literally just saying this, bad at keeping my train of thought, that they're sort of harboring this mind-controlling fungus that can turn people feral and make them want fighting, essentially.
I do love a symbiotic relationship.
Then you have insect underground that are unaffected by the fungus spores and a symbiotic relationship. Interesting. I was thinking Thri-kreen for this area. I don't think I want to do. Oh, I don't want to do Thri-kreen for this area because the Thri-kreen are probably going to go into the desert, the big perpetual sandstorm desert, as sort of the other sort of what do you call it, monstrous race there. But we did establish that there were the Quatoa, which are the fish people. Maybe they're the ones that I like. I like that. The Myconids live underground. What if these Quatoa brought the stuff to the Myconids because they're under a spell as well? Or maybe they believe they're gods. Apparently the Quatoa believe that... I'll bring it up again. Quatoa. These ones, if it shows these ones. Well, it is a swampy area. And the Quatoa don't actually live...
quite a bit of water.
No, it's spelt Quatoa.
There is water, but it's very...
Unless it's said Kautoa, maybe.
The water doesn't flow anywhere. It's stagnant. It's full of nasty things.
It doesn't
if you drank it,
say. It doesn't say that the Kautoa actually live in the Funny enough, the Kautoa actually don't live underwater? Question mark? They don't live underwater. They live underground, which would work perfectly.
Well, I suppose it is quite moist underground.
They're slaves of the mind flayers.
So a bit like...
Which would be sort of cool, because if the Myconids are controlling their mind, then that's sort of a similar concept, because they're essentially slaves of the, what do you call it? They're slaves of fucking whatever. Slaves of the mind flayers, and perhaps Myconids are sort of doing that shit as well. That'd be very easy to bring fucking what's the word I'm thinking of? I don't know what I was gonna say. I was gonna say, like, bringing corpses and shit to the Myconids that are living underground. They'd be good slaves. And perhaps they'd ride on giant beetles. That'd be sort of cool.
Ooh, I do love a giant beetle.
That would actually be really cool. If they rode on giant beetles around the place, or giant crocodiles.
Giant creatures work anyway.
Oh
like,
yeah, don't worry. There's an entire section at the back of the monster manual for giant things. I'm going to include a lot of those, I reckon. So, what we have now is Myconids. So the Myconids are controlling the Quatoa. Kautoa, I don't know how to say it, I don't really care. Emitting spores that are sending the other races mad. And make them more feral. Interesting. And then perhaps they fight, and then they bring the corpses back down. Interesting ecosystem. I like this. This is working. This is working well.
It works as a sort of a loop, a looping ecosystem.
Yeah.
Good.
So we have a well-established race that's been around for years, And then the Myconids come along and go, yo, what up? We're gonna just chill underground. And they start releasing these spores and stuff that are controlling the Wanti. It's interesting. It's an interesting parallel, the two races.
I'd say so.
Because again, the lizard folk are these sort of primal things that live, on the surface and just sort of do shamanistic druidy stuff. The Wanti are more refined, even though their civilization is still less refined than perhaps humanoid civilizations, in the sense that they live in temples made of stones and have caste systems and do a lot of more primally stuff. But it's more refined than the shamans.
So a question I just thought of was,
Yes.
how would the players traverse this environment?
I was thinking, because this world is semi-technical, perhaps breathing apparati?
Yeah.
Depending on the race that you are, actually. Because if you're a race that can deal with this,
Then you'd be fine.
you'd be fine. Also, I'm cutting elves from this area. Elves make no sense anymore.
No. Also, you need to wear full body clothing, like, to stop the gas from ripping your skin off.
Maybe. I'm intrigued as to what could possibly. Perhaps there is magic that could shield things as well.
Yeah. Some sort of shielding magic.
There's definitely a lot of that. Perhaps there is a cloak or something you could wear that would stop the entire effects of this area affecting you.
Yeah.
And
Because no doubt some sort of, like, travelers went around a long time ago and they worked out ways to
oh yeah,
shield.
it's a I'm thinking most of the places are well known. Like the rainforest is well known, the jungle, the marsh. What is this place? Is it a marsh? Is it a rainforest? It's like a marsh, right?
Yeah.
What is a marsh? Oh, that's. I'm just.
Bioluminescent mold that grows on the walls and produces a natural
It's a jungle, right? This has to be a jungle.
Yeah, it's a jungle.
A marshy jungle. A swampy jungle. A jungle
Yes.
swamp.
Swamp jungle. A swungle.
A swamp jungle. So we've established it's a swamp jungle now. Swamp jungle. Hello. Hello, Delkilia. Dekilia, sorry. Trees are walls if it's overgrown. That's it. A swungle. I like the idea of bracket swungle. Swungle is fantastic. I like the idea of perhaps something natural that is in the actual swungle. Fuck. Now I'm saying it. Something that's in this swungle. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Maybe something naturally grown that people could, even if they have to, even if there's some way that they have to brew it, would be interesting.
Yeah, like a potion.
Or a tea. Or a tea.
Yeah, they brew like a sort of a tea, which
That'd be funny.
creates like a,
I only suggested tea because you're British.
I don't even like tea.
But you should. I like tea and I'm Australian.
Well, you're silly. You're a silly Australian.
I am. So we're thinking like some sort of moss or mold
Yeah, which then you can brew into some sort of beverage. And
that would
consume it,
stop.
even though
This
it
is mainly to stop the fungus, the fungal spores,
takes
right?
roll to brew.
Oh, that's definitely a thing you have to do.
And if you roll a 1, then
Oh, you're fucked. Oh, you're absolutely
you're
fucked. Yeah. So we've got a moss / mold to stop the fungal spores. We've got some sort of respiratory device for the actual traversal. Moldmead. That's a nice name.
Moldmead.
And it's disgusting. It's revolting. It's the worst thing you've ever drunk.
Unless you roll like a really high number and then like you put some nice spices or something in it.
Slightly psychedelic. I like that. Slightly psychedelic.
Oh, and then you trip out when you drink it. Oh, that would be amazing.
But you don't get affected by the mind control, so who cares?
Yeah. You drink it and then all the trees look like they have faces.
I reckon... So, I'm going to bring back up the map on my screen. So I'm thinking on this map, because I'm going to start marking things on it. I'm going to separate it to this area here, which I'm currently drawing. So I'm thinking directly inside this spot of the map. Can you see where I'm talking about? Yep.
Yep.
I actually want to draw that in green, but I'll do it while I'm talking. So we need to work out before this, because I think we'll probably end this episode pretty soon.
Yeah.
Because I know you have things that you need to do. And I'm probably going to do some Darkest Dungeon streams after this, maybe. Or some PUBG, or maybe I just won't stream. I'm not actually sure. I haven't decided. So this is the this is the Swungle, affectionately named Swungle. Oh fuck. Okay, I need to do that in a separate layer so I don't fuck with anything below. So it's a Swungle, and then I was thinking we need to work out where we want. I want to work out where the 1T civilization is going to be, because that's important. Also, I'm thinking
nearish, sort of the edge.
I'm thinking that perhaps we don't have any natural towns in this area. So we don't have places that I would call a town.
No? No. Well, why would you build a town? Like, it would involve chopping down trees, and that's just a faff.
Alright, so this is the Swungle. So I'm thinking perhaps over here. And
you
I
do
want
realize the swamp water is like stagnant, right? Like,
yeah.
You would probably die if you drank it.
Probably. It's gonna taste like shit anyway. I think it needs to be boiled. I think the process would have to be swamp water, mold, and I actually like the idea of the fermented rice. Perhaps that, and then you boil it.
There are rice flats.
You boil it for quite a while. I don't think we should put rice flats in this area, but... So I was thinking that, if I take this... If I take this... So this here would be the, 1T settlement. So can you see where I'm putting this one?
I see it.
Like a big area, because I think the 1T need to have a large sort of area for their settlement.
Yeah.
And then perhaps we need the Hydra's den. I'm thinking of putting the Hydra's den here.
That's a bit close by, isn't it?
Well, no, I'm thinking it's going to be on the entire
right.
different section if it'll actually draw for me.
So I'm watching the stream at the same time, and it's slightly delayed. So
yeah, it's currently not drawing. Oh right, because I'm in rectangle select. So this area here is where I'm thinking of a Hydra den. So instead of this water here, we have a Hydra den. Because that puts it on the opposite side of puts on the opposite side of the of where the settlement is.
Yep.
And then maybe this area over here is the lizard folks area.
Mm-hmm.
So then we have the lizard folk clans over here. Because remember,
Still
they're
think
not
Swan
settlements,
goes
they're clans. Because they're lizard folk. And then obviously underneath the entire place is the Myconids living underneath.
Indeed.
I reckon there's going to be quite a few different clan names, and the settlement will probably be a few different settlements. But
Indeed.
honestly, if we have a look at what we've done, we've established one area of the map.
And that's quite good, actually.
It looks pretty good. Like, surprisingly.
Zoom out.
Yeah, I'm trying to. It's fucking...
Oh, there we go.
Paint.net
Yeah,
is
it's
sometimes the stupidest thing.
That is a good bit of progress we've done so
Yeah.
far. I quite like that.
And then I obviously have ideas like replacing this entire section over here with desert. But we're
Yeah.
getting to that. So this is what I eventually want to have the entire map look like. Just a lot of different
Coloured things.
coloured lines. And then eventually I'll redo this map with these things proper.
Yeah, with the biomes in mind.
I'll probably go through and make separate, smaller images of all the different zones, I think, is what I'm going to do.
That works. Yep.
Well, that's it for this, I reckon that's it for this session. We've been going for, what,
About an hour and a half.
hour and 20 minutes? What? It's because I started the stream 10 minutes before we actually started.
Oh.
And I've been live for an hour and 27. So, hour and 20-ish.
About that, yeah.
Well, thank you all for watching. Thank you for giving some feedback. We'll be doing this again next week, hopefully the same day. It just depends on what's going on. And next time we're going to focus on a different biome. Once we've got this entire map done and we've worked out exactly what we want for all the biomes, we can start going through and refining everything.
Absolutely.
Yep, okay, so here's the settlement. Here, what's going on? Here. Why is this settlement? Again, we're getting a lot of groundwork done. We want stuff in the... We want a lot of detail, but we want to expand on that detail later in physical mechanics. This will take a while. Which is what I'm hoping.
How many biomes do we have?
I think we named
Eight-ish?
about 7 last time.
Yeah.
We had the jungle, we had the desert, we had the mountains, we had the snow, we had the underwater bit, which is going to be fucking huge. And then we have what else did we have? We had a Fey Forest, and we had the Storm Plains, which is what I was thinking of. But any of those could be cut, depending on what happens.
Lovely.
Yeah, it is a huge map. I linked the tool I used to generate it earlier on. But I will link it again, just in case someone missed it. Well, obviously you missed it. It's a very useful tool for generating maps. I already know where the volcano area is going to be, by the way.
Where
in
is
the
it?
center of the mountain range.
Lovely. I want it to be like... Maybe we can study that one next time.
I wanted to go with the desert next, but we can do that if you want.
Alright then.
Alright.
I'll have a look.
Beautiful. Well, thank you
Lovely.
for watching. That's the stream for today. The video will be up on YouTube probably by the end of today, if I can get it all to work properly. And
Good.
we will see you all next week for the next episode of this.
Hurrah. Thanks for observing and listening with your ears.
And I may be doing some Darkest Dungeon streams afterwards, depending on whether I just want to relax or not.
Okay,
Thanks for doing the watch thing.
Bye then.
See you later.